So we'll get to your mental issues over time here. Some of it I think is gonna end up being relatively similar to what we saw on the first video that I posted on my or my coaching site the coaching channel where the student needed to learn how to direct his attention better, right? And that way, all of these doubts of like, do I belong in this rank? Why did I drop from my peak, etc., end up fading away because you don't have that mental space to even worry about those things. You're too busy thinking about one aspect of your gameplay, judging that, and just working to improve to worry about whether or not you belong, right? So wanted to look at the replay. We can pause at any moment, talk about things, can go back into the mentality talk if we want. But for now, I think we can just go with this. What rank was this? You mentioned that you had a diamond and a plat account.
Yeah, this is I'm plat 1 on this account, so this is plat 1. Around like plat and diamonds, the match range. And I think their Genji was also on an alt account.
This is always fine. Sure. If you want me to pause at any moment to ask a question or talk about something, just let me know.
Okay.
I do like how you're fighting a lot for positioning. There are a few things that I've seen from when they swapped off Genji. That's a shame. I
Yeah.
was hoping for more flanker battles, because something that I noticed that you were doing a decent amount of the times was like, let's say that you're holding your blue team, right? So let's say that you're holding here, but the person that you want to deal with is all the way on the other side. Let's say they're Genji, right? You were dealing with their Genji a lot. Do you think you should go for this Genji like this?
Um, Probably not.
What's the issue?
Well, if I dash over there, if I use my dash, then their entire team would just look at me, and then I would insta die.
Sure. But even if you consider just like an isolated 1v1, right? Just about these Genjis, is there anything inherently problematic about this engagement?
If it's an isolated 1v1, no, I don't think so.
Interesting. Because to me, something that I find useful to think about here is, what are you set up to do from this position? Where is your effective range?
Um, I would probably try closing the gap, like going over from the wall on the other side, like I was doing at the start, and seeing if someone was over there.
Maybe something like this?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And why is that something that you're doing if you're positioned here?
because no one would be able to. No one's holding that position, that
Sure,
particular position,
sure. But
so I
also,
can just do whatever I want,
but also,
uncontested. Mm,
you're targeting this position, right? Why are you not, let's say,
yeah.
trying to go for this or this or this?
Um, I guess it depends on who's where. So if someone is over there, I would probably set up over where the G is, and if someone is over, I don't know how to explain it. The
Can give you numbers if you want.
yeah,
1,
that
2,
position.
3.
Yeah, if someone was over at the first position, I would try to contest that. If someone was over at the second position, same thing. It just depends, I guess, on where they are.
Mm-hmm. Sure. The main point that I'm trying to make here is that the situations that you're trying to go for their Genji, and especially this big movements, does not really make sense with the position that you're playing. If you choose to position here, your effective range is kind of like this, right? You are set up to do something here. If you want to deal with someone that's in one of these positions, right, you're not really going to be allowed to just do this most of the time. You kind of just have to set yourself up for those. So, as an example, let me quickly remove this. Yeah, maybe you have to do something like this, right? Or for that one, maybe you have to do a flank behind or something. You just need to earn that setup, right? You can't just set up for one place and just suddenly change to another by using mobility and act as if you have everything, right? The moment that you use your dash as a Genji to completely change which angle you're holding, you don't have your dash anymore, while their Genji has.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem, right? If you chose this position, you either stay and do things within this area, or you take a path that is non-confrontational. That way, their Genji cannot exploit the fact. Their Genji cannot exploit the fact that you have no dash because it's too far, right? And then by the time that you can actually peek this, right? By the time that you, let's say, walk around, you will peek the moment that you have dash, so you're not at a disadvantage. See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So if I go back, a lot of your trades with this Genji were awkward because of this. You're always taking them at a disadvantage. The idea of trading with their Genji, right? Marking them so that they can't aggressively position or dive your supports or whatever, is good. It's just you have to mark something within the area that you're currently set up, or you have to reposition in such a way that allows you to deal with them, right? And that's
Yeah.
usually requires foresight, right? Because if you try to move too late, you're not even gonna stop them. Or if you do the direct approach, you're gonna be taking a disadvantageous duel. So here, this is fine. Both of you have full resources, you can duel. Like here go feeds, nothing here that really needs to be talked about. So I believe it's next fight. You could even just like talk about the segment, maybe how you should not be doing that dash and maybe just staying on this area and dealing with whoever is close here. But I want to focus on the Genji thing, right? Where right now you're set up for this. You're not set up for their Genji.
Yeah.
So this causes you to use both cooldowns immediately for basically no value. And I have just tanked your value for 10-20 seconds. You have lost positioning, so now you cannot threaten this Ana, so she's free firing because nobody else on your team is set up for her. You did not even successfully deal with this Genji because he just kind of shrugged you off because you dashed in front of an entire team, so you're immediately forced to deflect and back up, right? So you lost space and didn't even succeed in the play that you were trying to make. Genji ends up feeding, but that's not really because you played well, right? It's just kind of his issue right there. So that's mainly what I wanted to comment on. The rest, like the spaces that you're trying to control, are all good. Sure. Might be able to recontest on Nano Blade. Oh, you're done. Nice.
One thing I did start to like get used to is just knowing that I can get value even without like kills. That's something that's really important to know. Because especially at Kulturao, Genji is like, if you're not getting kills all the time, the entire game, that means you're not doing anything.
Now, one thing I will say is that you can get value without kills, but a lot of the times the value from not getting kills is because you're threatening kills, right? So you shouldn't
Yeah.
be sad about not getting kills, but you shouldn't aim to not get kills. You oftentimes
Yeah,
still
yeah.
want to aim, you just need to go for what's realistic. And oftentimes, by threatening a kill on, let's say, the Xana, you force nade. Let's say that you back up right now, you deflect to this mini, wait for your cooldowns. Now, next engagement, she's vulnerable, she doesn't have cooldowns, you can kill, right?
Yeah.
Feeling okay?
Nice. Good.
60 seconds.
Sure. And now this is something that I could quickly comment on with your choice of angle, right? You have a lot of angle that you can play. You can play an angle that marks the Sigma, you can play an angle that goes for this Ana, right? In this case, you went for this angle. So if you're going for this angle, you can't just suddenly be like, oh no, wait, I don't want to fight here. No, you kind of have to stay within this vicinity and fight whoever is
Yeah.
here, or actually commit if there's no one here, deep in the flank, right? You can't just go here and then, oops, no, never mind, let me go back and let me do this, right? You're wasting time.
Yeah.
Assuming your team loses first here. Yeah. Let me see. Oh yeah, I forgot to check. When did I start recording? Okay, 10 minutes ago. We do have a limited amount of time, so I don't know how deep we want to get into this code, or which fights exactly we want to watch. So if there are any specific ones that you would like me to focus on, you mentioned like the last fight, I believe.
Yeah.
We could skip around.
Watch your back.
Sure. Good idea. A little bit of mechanical execution, but mainly Anna's looking at you. You can't really ignore that threat, right? You have to, let's say, deflect across or dash to the angle, something.
Yeah. One thing I will mention as well is that their Ana was really good. Like, her positioning was very difficult to punish because she was positioned very well. And I think that's another thing that that just reminded me. Sometimes when I'm playing against really good hit scan who know how to position really well, I tend to really struggle against them just to close the gap. I don't think I have any particular plays in mind, but just something else that I've noticed is that whenever I'm playing against really good hit scans, whose positioning is just nearly impossible to punish, I struggle a lot.
Sure, sure. We can focus on that in this match. One thing that comes to mind is that maybe it's not just a positioning issue against HITSCANS. Because the thing is, it's just the HITSCANS that are gonna punish them harder. So you could be making these same mistakes of like overly peaking at times, but you're just not getting hit hard or not getting hit at all because you just aren't playing against HITSCANS. You're maybe playing against a Genji or a Tracer or something. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, right? Like, pathing depends on comps, so if their comp has no range, then you can use open areas, and it might actually make more sense to use open areas, because that way you just abuse their lack of range. But for the most part, this is kind of an interesting way of thinking about it, where it might not be an issue just about hit scans, right? It might just be exposed when you face hit scans.
30 seconds.
Like here right now. Hit scan or not, this is not great. Because this is just like too easy for them to see it coming, right? It is not bad in theory, like you can hold this and just shoot whatever is close, right? This serves as a close range angle. but you're not doing this, right? You're kind of trying to drop on backline from main, whereas this would make more sense the moment that they don't look at you, something like that.
Yeah.
And immediately, yeah, you get shots. So you might do that against other comps and not have the punish, and then you don't learn that you're doing that mistake, or at least not enough to build that as a habit, right? Learn that what you're doing.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Overtime.
You can count on me. The tide is with you.
I'm assuming your team loses this because of the time. Yeah.
For no one. 30 seconds.
Like the stats are backing, sure. Put this
Ultimate is ready.
You're powered up.
you see what I mean? With like, let me do a, you know, where's your closest cover?
I don't know.
And you know what's the usually a good red flag here? The fact that like you could point out multiple as your close cover. You shouldn't really have multiple options as closest cover, because that kind of means that you're in the middle of nowhere. Like this is kind of the same time as this, and maybe the same time as this. You should really be just hugging one of them. Right now it makes the most sense to hug this side, because that's kind of where you want to use kind of as a path to like cut them off, right? That's your best way of approaching. Like this does not make sense for you, it makes sense for an Ana, right? Long range sidelines.
My ultimate is ready.
You're powered up. Get in.
This is good, this is gonna be rounds. Nice. Any questions so far?
Ready. 5, 4, 3,
Not that I can think of.
attackers.
Oh, and they have a DC.
Escort.
But yeah, like, you see what I mean? Let's look at your movements like this.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Right here. Right through the open. And in a straight line too.
Yeah.
So this is good. This is great. Awesome. This is fine. Sure. Unfortunately, you lost 60% of your HP on entry because you weren't as sneaky, right? You were double jumping over and giving their Bastion and Hanzo opportunities to shoot you. But this is the right idea, right? You just needed to execute better. So if not for that, you would have gotten the Ana. You would have done exactly what you said that you were struggling with against HITSCANS, where they are just very well positioned.
Yeah.
Here, how do you get to their Ana? Think.
Could take the long way from that hallway down there.
Somewhere from here. Multiple options, right? You can
Yeah.
walk climb here, you can walk climb here. You can walk climb from main, so you can go somewhere like this and oops, and then go like here or here, right? You have options. But you're thinking about ways that you avoid our sidelines until they're close. Right? Nice. Unfortunately, have just been poked out too much at this point. And this is because you have been with your team, you tanked a bunch of damage, it wasn't for you, right? You needed to already be on an angle, right? Ideally, you are here with 250 HP. So at this point, makes more sense for you to sit here, wait for heal, then go. Because you don't have the resources to make the play that you want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I just thought about something that might help you. Something that I often think about. I was thinking about even making a video on this at some point, where like lost tricks can actually be good if you have the right mindset for them, because essentially what lost tricks indicate is that something is wrong and that you need to change them. And then because you are at a lower rank, you feel less pressure to perform because you know that you have the skill to climb from that rank, right? You have done that before.
Yeah.
So something that I've started doing whenever I have a lost trick or something is that I just try to recenter myself, think about my plan, and try to figure out the shortcoming, right? Is it mental? Is it gameplay wise? And how can I address it, right? You mentioned, I believe, tilting, right?
Yeah.
In that case, how do you address tilt? Maybe with frequent breaks, right? But if the problem is in your gameplay, right? Maybe you notice that suddenly after a new patch has happened, you now, let's say, can't play around the new deflect timing, right? And then that's causing you to lose games. Well, then you go into games and then you practice looking at your cooldowns to know if they're available, and then you make plays based on that, and then you fix the habits. So the basically you can treat lost tricks as wake up calls, because usually if you're just like win loss whatever, right, nothing crazy is gonna happen. This is just your standard emotional state. You're not really gonna, unless you're like really dedicated to improving, you're gonna end up falling kind of in a routine, and things are gonna start to slow down, and you're not gonna really necessarily analyze your mistakes or something. But when there are these moments where things suddenly change, right? The shock of the lost streak or the win streak or whatever, right? That can trigger a certain response from you. Usually the win streaks is just like in terms of like motivation, you just feel good about yourself, not necessarily about changing your gameplay. While it's the opposite for the lost streaks, right? So in this case,
Yeah.
it's an important idea for you to try to figure out. Maybe this is the path, or maybe something else that you might have to figure out, right? There is a lot of like self-discovery, right? A lot of thinking that you have to do about your personality and how you might deal with those issues. But I'm just brainstorming some ideas here with you so that you can reflect and maybe figure out what exactly your issue with your confidence is, right?
Yeah. I also think that a lot of the times, like my confidence in myself really wanes whenever I'm like, I shouldn't have lost this game, or I should have like played better, or I could have won this if I had done this or that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's easy to look at these things as negative. It's also, you can also just like change your perspective slightly and have it be positive. Just like, I had this much power over the game, and not only that, I know what it was that caused the game to not go the way that it should have been, right? By your standards.
Yeah.
So if you know that if and when, right, you improve, those games are now gonna be within your control. So you can have a feeling of powerlessness, but you can also have a feeling of power with those. I like to think about it as this way of like, when it's a bummer in the moment, but it's exciting to know that you had that potential agency and that eventually you will have that agency. It's not just a like, oh, I choked this. Like, no, if you were to think back to when you started the game, right, what rank were you? What were the games that you were struggling with? Would you struggle with them now?
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
It was also Overwatch 1. I've been playing since Overwatch 1.
Because you have built yourself up, right?
I was a casual player throughout most of Overwatch 1. Like, only now I've started taking the game a little more seriously. And I honestly did not know that, like, I even had the ability to tilt, because I was so, like, nonchalant about everything. I was like, I was satisfied with just being plat because I really enjoyed the game on a casual level, even just playing competitively. But now that I'm like, okay, I want to actually get really good, it's like, wow, it's really hard.
It's really hard, and the tilt is good, right? The tilt means that you're invested. So
Yeah.
that is useful information for you to think about how to think things through, right? Being frustrated with losses is not necessarily bad, right? You can look at those and use that frustration as motivation to push yourself to do better next time, have more focus in your practice so that you improve at a faster rate, things like that.
Yeah.
I guess a good summary. I will quickly go back because this fight is useful to talk about. But I guess a good summary of what I'm trying to talk to you about is that in the moment when you're playing, you want to keep your emotional state under your control. You don't want to spiral negatively. So you want to look at things in a positive fashion or a neutral fashion, however that might be, right? Through some of the methods that we talked about. But as far as like let's say after you finish the session and you want to reflect on things to do the next day or whatever, right? So the big picture stuff, that's when those negative emotions are actually really useful because they drive you to action. They make you, okay, how do I need to change my practice? What do I need to do to actually start winning these games or whatnot, right? Understand what your goals are and how you're going to achieve them. So that's a useful way of thinking about it, right? Look, don't completely ignore your negative emotions. Just know when to look at those negative emotions.
Yeah.
Right. Here, how do you path? You're playing against HITSCANS. They're well positioned.
Probably just try to go from behind, from around where the Ana or my Ana is.
So you want to use this path again?
Yeah, to avoid their sidelines.
Sure. So you can do the long flank to go for the Ana. You can climb and go for the hands and whatnot. What's another path?
From where my Buyang is. Also,
You mean like somewhere like this?
yeah.
Sure. Is there a more direct way of doing this?
More direct way. Maybe go in the room where the Mega is. But maybe that's just the same way.
Sure. That could be a good way of doing the Ana flank, but shorter. But what about the Wu Yang angle, but shorter? What's that version? Where is cover that you can use?
The car over there.
Do you need a cooldown for this?
I would say my dash, but that feels like I'm wasting it.
What range are these characters good at? Can they see you?
Yeah, far range. But if I do dash to that cover, that might work.
What's your worry about it?
That they might change their positions.
Sure.
By the time I have my dash.
Is
be able to do
that a problem necessarily?
No, because from that angle, like I might be able to poke. But it would help gain some space for my team to walk. Maybe.
Yeah. Mainly you're thinking about hurting the enemy team, right? So your team right now is under massive threats in this area because they have so much pressure here. If you start to walk around this way and you go here and then maybe you use another cooldown rotation here, these players are now forced to walk back. Maybe this Ana needs to move away. Suddenly, the area that they're actually threatening is kind of like this, right? It's not here anymore. So you can kind of manipulate where the enemy can apply pressure because your threat up close is something that they want to avoid, just like their long range threat is something that you want to avoid. So right now, they are trying to leverage their advantage by peeking aggressively, because you cannot punish, because you and your team have worst range. But once you get close, then you're gonna be the ones trying to leverage your advantage. So both teams are trying to avoid the scenario where they're bad at and trying to get to the scenario that they're good at. Now, the interesting part about this is that this creates a game of cat and mouse. But who is gonna win this eventually? It's a tricky question.
If I'm able to close the gap and my Reaper is also very effective at close range, and he also closes the gap, and then we might have a chance to win it, I think.
A good way of thinking about it is, can these players force you into a position where you need to fight them at long range?
No.
Can you force these players into fighting you up close?
Can I force them to fight me up close? No. They're range signatures from far range.
Maybe I can rephrase this. Can they avoid you if you get close?
No.
That's it. You don't like the fact that these characters have these sightlines, right? It's annoying that they have these sightlines, but you don't have to go here. That's the important part. You can avoid them until you want to pick them. So it's gonna take a while, but you can avoid or do your best to avoid them. The biggest thing that these characters can do to make it hard for you to actually avoid them is to have so many angles that maybe the Cassidy is here and the Hanzo is in that position, right? That they have so many different sightlines, right? That no matter where you go, you're exposed. But right now they're not doing that. And most of the time, these long-range characters can do this because they become easy prey, right? Like in this case of this Cassidy, your team just runs them down, right? And then the Cassidy just dies. Because the Cassidy does not have the tools to make these plays. You have, Reaper has, Hazard has. The close-range characters have the tools to be able to make these movements around the map because they need to close the gap. That's the design of characters that are like this. What's the point of a close-range character that can't close the gap, right? So by thinking about these character identities, you can look at this and be like, you go here, and then you go here, and sure, these players are gonna rotate away every time, but what happens once you're basically trying to capture the points, right? Like where left is it for them to go, right, at this point? Like they already moved basically to second point. You're taking all of the space away from them slowly. You're forcing these players to back up. Eventually they have to fight, and it's not gonna be to their advantage. So you're hurting them into spots until they can't anymore, and then they have to fight, and then you can fight on your own terms. That's essentially the idea.
Yeah. So it's just the same thing as like space control. Because they're all hit scans.
It's space control exploiting the matchup of close range characters versus long range characters and their hero identities, right? What those identities allowed them to do, right?
Yeah.
So this is good. You should not be taking damage here, you should deflect across. But the idea is good, right? And you can see that they're moving back, they're losing sightlines, and then eventually they have no sightlines left. And at the point, either they fight or they just don't fight and just lose the point for free, right? They have to win the fight before you get to this point, right? You have a guaranteed checkmate as long as you execute mechanically to a satisfactory level, right? If you reach that point. So in fact, if you play it well, the pressure is not on you to perform. The pressure is on them. Can they hit enough shots that they kill someone on rotation? Does the Hanzo hit a one shot, right? That's what they need to do. So in a way, if you're playing against long-range characters like this that are respecting you this much and they're constantly rotating away, you are gaining immense value, just like we talked about, without getting kills. Just by threatening a kill, by walking close to them and forcing them to respond to that threat.
Yeah.
What would be annoying for you would be if this caster didn't walk away and actually dueled you on rotation right before you were in a good range. That's when it's most annoying, right? Because it's not quite as if you can take the engagements, but they're playing aggressively enough where they can actually prevent you maybe from signing up if they hit a shot at you. So those kinds of aggressive players, right, that feel like they have cold blood, those are like the annoying hit scans to deal with, not these guys. Your Reaper misplayed, but since you right now have not been punished yet, at this point you have an overwhelming advantage on the Xana. This executed really mechanically there. It's a skill shot from the Ana too, she hit it. But sure, you had the right intention. And you executed for the most part well. Here, how do you close the gap? Don't stay in this range. Oops. There you go. You know where the targets that you want to go on are. How can you reach them? Not necessarily for a kill. How can you just reach them? You want to avoid these sightlines that they have, right? Let's mark them like this, right? So this is the sightline that they have. You want to avoid this sightline. Where do you go?
I could go from where my Reaper is.
Sure.
Try to help him with the Reaper, or I could go from where the Diva is.
Inside, somewhere. Now, one thing that you need to be careful here is that you're often gonna have to use codons to cross. If your opponents have a hybrid comp, right? Which are usually, they tend to be the better comps in Overwatch, right? That's why you usually see main support flex supports and then flex DPS hit scan, right? Because that way you have someone like this Reaper that can control the short angles while you have someone like the Handler that controls the long angles, right? If they all use long range, then if you force them into close range, they're screwed. So the Reaper on their comp is actually a very important piece of this Hanzo safety, because he can duel toe-to-toe with your Reaper and prevent this flank from being used, right? Now, in this case, since you have double flex DPS, you can just double this guy, force them out because he has a disadvantage, and then use this angle. Or you can try to take the other path, although you do need to be careful about the Diva that can push you, right? But you have options here.
Yeah.
It's just about choosing them. Now, would you like to go into live games?
Sure, we can do live games.
You have time for one or two. Don't think I need to show this in an example match. So you can queue quick play.
Okay.
In the meantime, let me see. Yeah, here. Hello. My PC is, oh yeah, my PC is delayed. So here. Let me see, is this capturing? Yes. And what else? Discord, yeah. So you can see media, right? So instant first thing I always do, information, right? What are they playing? Where are they playing? A lot of poke damage. Look at where I go.
Try to avoid their sight lines.
I am, because I'm vulnerable from using my cooldowns, I'm putting myself in a range where I can't get ran at, right? If they had someone like a Tracer or a Genji, I might not even be able to do this because they can chase me here. potentially, depending on your positioning. But because all of these characters are slow and positioned far away, then I can just chill without cooldowns. And then after I get my cooldowns back, I can start closing the gap again. So you'll see this soon. Have my cooldowns now, so I walk. I end up engaging in long range poke for too long here. But I walk. And I'm gonna be forcing reactions from my opponents. So I'm not engaging them in areas where I have the disadvantage, I'm only engaging them when I have an advantage. Now, let's look at a better fight example. Although, actually, this is also an interesting one, right? Interesting little angle that sets me up and forces them to walk into me. So they can't fight me at their range, they have to fight me at my range, right? That's the benefit of this angle. Also, if you find a game, do let me know. Oh, you are in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see. Has it started yet?
Not yet. Junkertown was one of the map voting options, but everyone would have Anna.
It's good. It's good because it's gonna force you to think about things. I'm gonna return to that clip later. Now, I want you to think about setting up your range and avoiding long range sightlines, because you're most likely gonna be fighting a lot of hit scans. What angle should you play?
Usually I take this angle, and sometimes I go to this one.
I want you to play this one.
Attackers incoming.
Okay.
Stop the payload.
Funny, I say that and they have Doom Genji. And Reaper, oh great. Well, we can exercise, I guess, their Ana and Kira, I guess. Avoid Ana sightlines.
Defeated.
I want you to pay attention to the sightlines, right? Yeah, there you go. If she wants to fight you, she needs to fight you up close. Yep. Yeah. When you're fighting that Genji, when you're fighting the Doom, try to be mindful of where the Ana can see and avoid that. In this case, you have a lot of time. Can you rotate somewhere to reach the Ana? Ignore them, ignore them. Just rotate. What's your next step? You're gonna need a cooldown. What's next step?
Just gonna take...
Perfect. Go right side, go fast. No one is looking at you, so you can walk. Good. Sure.
That's a work here.
There's an enemy here.
Now, something you also could have done, in case they were looking at you, you dash to the right room, wait for your dash. Slowly close the gap. It was nice. Avoid that inside flank though. Wait for her to close the gap. So shame. It is gonna be a little bit hard to force the practice here because of the Genji and the Reaper and the Doom that all want to fight you up close.
Mistakes. Always
But if you can, right, if there's a situation where you can reach the Ana, try to exercise the pathing. Trying to find the way that you can checkmate her, essentially.
I wanted to recontest, but I don't think our comp is fast enough to come back in time.
Look, find your sightlines, avoid them, find your setup. Ana is too far back for you to try to set up on her, so don't worry.
I gotta just standing still. Oh,
It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're not testing your mechanics here. You got close to her, you did not take damage.
yeah.
Aww. It was a nice try. Okay, now this is interesting. Now only Genji can really fight you up close. The rest is just long range. So this is gonna test you properly.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Our work is not done. And the round wakes up.
Show me what you're made of.
Nice. Okay, avoid their sightlines. How can you close the gap?
We need to stand in the payload's way.
Nope. Okay. That's fine, but a little bit brute forced. I want you to try and not really engage them with dash if possible.
Nano boost administered.
Keep walking. Perfect. This is the kind of stuff we want to see. This is the skill that you need to be able to have consistently, right? Of like closing the gap. Not because you're always gonna reach closed range, but because you need to threaten them into those movements, right? Of if they are aware of you, they move away from you. You're only really gonna get opportunities like on that Freya if they're unaware.
We must stop the payload's progress.
I'll be right there.
I guess the thing with better hit scans who have a bit more awareness is that I need to be smarter in my pathing to be able to close the gap without using any cooldowns.
So, there you go, you have an opportunity here. Use good cover, yes. How do you close the gap on Dana? Ignore the Genji. How do you close the gap on Dana? Close the gap? Yep, there you go. Now you wait.
Oh my god!
That's fine.
I mean, I had the right idea, I think.
Yeah. You just took a little bit too long, so instead of getting to that position at full HP, you got there at 100. That was the only issue.
Yeah.
The only reason why the Ana could push you there is because you were low. So let's try again this fight. This fight's just lost, unfortunately. And Genji did good, right? If Genji doesn't contest you, you get the path to backline for free. Genji contested you, you needed to deal with him. Third point is gonna be good though. Third point is gonna be a lot calmer, because engagements are gonna take longer to happen. So you're gonna have more time to think about your pathing. Try to take some space. Where are they not looking at?
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Close the gap. Good.
We must stop the payload's progress.
That's fine. Maybe try a different path.
He's contesting me at every angle.
Yeah.
My soul is alive. We must stop the payload's progress.
Good. Now, since the fight is won, you have time to position. So, is there any position that you currently want to take?
I think I want to go here.
Sure.
Over there. Enemy slept here. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Don't engage them in long range.
To stand in the payload's way.
10 seconds remaining.
Thing about that position is that you kind of have to commit to the late play. If your team feeds, it's not your problem. You just need to wait for the long range characters to walk close to you. Only then can you do something.
After this poem?
Aww. Nice try.
That's unlucky.
Oh, they almost C9 too. It's fine. Hopefully you get attack next. Attack would be good.
What I'm noticing is that I think this is pretty much exactly how I played when I started climbing. When I was really climbing, I think I was a bit more patient, looking for setups. But more recently, I think I started to, like, when I started to gain a little more confidence, I kind of just threw the fundamentals out the window. And when I started losing, I started getting more frustrated, and I feel like I'm falling back into my bad habits again.
I know this story very well. So you gain the confidence, and then if you lose a little bit for whatever reason, right? Some rank fluctuation is normal even without skill changes. So that can challenge your ego, and then you're suddenly like, no, wait, but I belong in that rank. What you mean I'm dropping? And then you suddenly think that you just deserve to climb back or something without having to put effort or things like that. And then you end up falling into these spirals where you're just trying to prove yourself mechanically or however, right? And because you're throwing away the fundamentals that got you there in the first place, now you're, instead of just like proving yourself, you're doing the opposite. You're continuously hurting yourself and increasing the size of the snowball.
Yeah. I think another thing is when I like tried to take more aggressive angles, I noticed that when I started climbing more, taking those aggressive angles, I would just get forced out pretty much instantly, I think. And that made me think that just taking that position, I think I don't know what my issue was. Maybe I was taking the wrong positions at the wrong times. But I stopped doing that and kind of leaned more into like the brute force. And when brute forcing is very like mechanically heavy, right? And that just kind of snowballed into me losing a lot and then losing the confidence that I gained out of climbing.
Yeah, so rather than figuring out the roadblock that you're facing, you just completely went off the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, quick example here before the match.
Leave a broken world behind.
I will want to close the gap on the supports here.
It's different.
But I realize that they're looking at me, so I'm like, wait, how can I do this? So what I'll end up landing at is I'll take the very long way around, non-confrontational for like 20 seconds, until I kind of hurt them into a good position. Where now I have offered my team an insane pincer, right?
I think another thing is like when I took that position at last point in the match just now, That's another defense game.
2, 1.
Like just being, I felt like I was AFK, especially the Roadhog like hooked 2 of my teammates off the map.
Yeah. Arguably not the time to do that play, or maybe your team just needs to be aware of that and actually play back and not feed the Roadhog. So there are multiple things there. You could have played a position that did not involve that risk of the Roadhog killing your team. But if you're gonna be in that position, think about what is required to make it work. Like right here, what do you need to make this position work? Do you need stealth? I don't know.
It's the witching hour. It's the witching hour.
A perfect world is a perfect prison.
It's the about to get real.
Not so fast.
It's about to get real.
Yeah, the Roadhog is here.
It's about to get real.
Hop on.
Tango in sight.
You turned it the wrong moment. One thing I will say is that is very important about this, especially in defense, is recognizing where is relevant space. It's a little bit more advanced, but I would just quickly talk to this. If the hit scans are feeling too far, like on that area of the map, or basically you're trying to spawn camp, usually that's not good. You don't have to force close the gap. Sometimes you can just hold a position and dare them to come to you.
Time for spring. Where'd you play? A perfect world is a perfect prison.
Hello.
Boosting your dashboard.
Whoever holds your peace.
Batteries charging.
I am healed.
My ultimate is charged. It's about to get real.
Good.
Nanoboost administered.
I'm coming for you all.
Nice. This stupid Roadhog character, man.
See you.
You get hooked and you're dead. You're just dead. You can't do anything about it.
Such a design failure.
I agree.
Don't necessarily have to force a play this far back.
Keep a lookout.
You can use that flank, but I wouldn't force path that far necessarily. So like here, if you want, you can just wait.
Heroes never die. It's go time.
It's about to get real. It's about to get real.
Hello there.
It's about to get real.
I thank you.
I'm being attacked.
Your Doomfist is feeding, ignore him. If you wanna engage them there, you need to set yourself up for it. How would you do so? Don't walk main.
It's about to get real.
Nice.
Remaining. Good to see you.
Are you scared?
Oh, that's payload.
Come here and I will heal you. Over here.
Help here.
Enemy team.
Ooh. It was a good setup.
Are you scared?
That was mechanical.
30 seconds remaining.
Hopefully they cap so that we have a little bit more game to play.
Stop the payload.
Let's see. Yeah.
Are you scared?
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
I'm not gonna tell you where is like the line that you can't really cross because it's too far to go for. I'll just let you path and figure it out. Yeah, there you go.
It's go time. It's about to get real. Nano boost administered.
Yeah, that's fine. If that's the character you wanna go on and on the place that you wanna fight, that's how you do it. So you did it right.
Yeah.
この先に竜の道が
Don't have to judge whether or not the play made sense or not, or just judging your ability to path right now.
We must stop the payload's progress.
It's about to get real. Enemy here.
Oh,
Aww. So that was good. That's one of the big things about Genji. A lot of your duels you should not really be taking fair duels. You should be taking these duels where you have an overall main advantage. If the Ashe sees you, it should be too late. You should be dead by 2 shots. Avoid, avoid. There we go. She's too far, don't bother. Go for someone else. There we go. Unfortunate. You had the right idea.
Seconds remaining.
I thought he dropped down. I guess he didn't.
Don't worry, he's just a stupid character that has infinite HP, a one-shot, and can be punished.
七転び青
Yeah. I thought they reverted the honk changes. Do they not?
They did not revert his stupidity, which is unfortunate.
My ultimate is ready.
This gets a little bit tougher at this point, gets more open. So we'll see how we'll handle it. Nice. Be careful about when you engage, but this is a good angle.
It's go time.
Team is engaged, so you can walk.
Bob, do something.
Excuse me? Hello? Where does that payload thing is going? Good to see you.
Moving back.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Alright. So you can leave, stop Q, and let's talk about it. How did you feel?
I think that it felt a lot better. Maybe there was some awkward plays, but I do remember this was exactly like I thought more about how to close the gap in a way that avoids damage when I climbed all the way from plat till masters.
Mhm.
And I think I just need to replicate that more and just be more aware of the flanks that I can take.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a Genji or if there's a Tracer or just any character that can contest me at that flank, and then I can see if I can take that duel or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you start with this base, this idea of what your character does, right? The kind of angles that you want to take, and then from there you problem solve. So if you're dealing against an annoying flanker that's dueling you? How do you handle them? Do you actually fight them? Do you avoid them? If so, how do you avoid them? Or maybe you're struggling to path against a certain character. So maybe you need to look at your timing, right? Maybe you need to wait for your tank to get the attention of that annoying character, right? Let's say that's a soldier poking you out. So that the soldier is shooting your tank, now you go in the flank so that you don't get poked yourself out. So now you earn the flank, and then after your cooldowns reset, you can make the play, right? That kind of stuff. But that's the very important part. To me, one of the biggest things about avoiding tilts and just continuously improving is to just constantly have these guiding goals for practice, right? I'm gonna practice this, or I'm gonna problem solve this issue that I'm having with this topic, right? Maybe my mechanics suck. What part of my mechanics sucks? Is it my flicks? Is it my tracking? How do I practice that? Figure it out, then apply it. Rinse and repeat over time.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, I think I got everything that I had in mind.
Alrighty. So yeah, just mainly gonna be a journey of self-discovery here, or a rediscovery here, right? You're retreading old ground. You're gonna try to avoid making the same mistakes. You're gonna try and potentially push further than what you did already, right? Hitting a masters.
Yeah.
So good luck in your journey.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
I really appreciate it.